Today we're going to be making this really easy crochet basket. The amount of yarn that you will need to start is about 1 skein per color, but at the end of the video I'll have an exact amount of how many I used. I'm also going to be using a K hook, which is a pretty decent sized hook. It started. Also, I am using Line brand yarn. And I will put in the description all of the materials that you'll need. So let's get started. And I've taken the yarn out of the center. I like to pull from the center just because it's easier. You'll find that sometimes it comes out on the side. I just prefer it coming out of the middle. It's a lot cleaner if you need to put it away. So the way we start is we do the magic circle. Basically, you will just wrap it around your 2 fingers like so. And then you will just pull the yarn through and kind of grip the other end so that you're creating that circle. And then you'll take the yarn and pull it through once, and while still holding so you don't lose your circle, we're going to go ahead and create 8 single crochets in this circle. So there's 1, 2, so once your circle is complete, you have your 8 single crochets. You can go ahead and pull this thread to tighten it. Okay, and now I'll just go in and slip stitch, which is just pulling the yarn through and then pulling it through again. So I'm literally just pulling the yarn through both stitches. Now we're going to go on to row 2, and again I do have the pattern in the linked in the description below. And so we're going to go ahead and chain 1, and in the same stitch there we're going to do 1 single crochet, and basically we're going to continue doing 2 in each all the way around. Okay, so I'm on the last 2 stitches of this row, and so again I just did 2 single crochets all the way around. So we have 1 and 2, in the next stitch 1, in the same stitch 2, and so we should have a total of 16 because we doubled the number of stitches in each stitch, which originally was 8. So we'll have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and then I'll just go into the original one and do my 16th stitch, and then I will join with a slip stitch. So that completes row 2. Okay, so now we'll be working on row 3. So we'll chain 1, and now in the same stitch we'll do single crochet, and the next stitch we will do 2, and then in the next stitch we will do 1. So now instead of doing 2 in each stitch, we're alternating. So 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So in the next stitch, since I just did 1, I'll be doing 2 single crochets. 1, 2. The next stitch will be 1. And I will meet you back up as soon as I get to the end. Okay, so I'm at the end here. I've done a double crochet, and now let's see here. So then this last stitch I'll be doing a single, and let's see here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 21, 22. So I'm going to just do a last double crochet in this last stitch right here for 24, which is what we need. So 1, 2. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and slip stitch. So I'll pull the stitch through and then pull through again. So we just completed row 3. So I'll chain 1 and single crochet in the same stitch, double crochet in the next. I'm sorry, 2 single crochets in the next. So 1, 2. Okay, so now we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So I just did a double, now I'm going to do 2 singles. So I did 2 single crochets in 1, so I doubled up there, and now I'm going to do 2. So there was 1 in that stitch. Now the next stitch I'm doing 1, and now the next stitch I'm doing 2. 1, 2. So I went 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay, you guys, so I'm at the end here, and again, if you need to pause this video, you know, just to catch up, then that's probably the easiest way. And so what I did is I did my 2 here, then I did my 2 single. This is a double, or sorry, 2 single crochets. So I'm ending at 2, 1, 1, 2. And because I always start with 1 and then 2, I need 1 more to complete that pattern. So I'm doing this last one here. Okay, and so that should complete my pattern. I'll go ahead and slip stitch in there and then pull through. All right, so now I am working on my 5th row because we just completed the 4th. So I'm going to single crochet, chain 1 up, single crochet in the first, whoops, double crochet in the next, I'm sorry, 2 single crochets. I keep saying double, which is a totally different stitch, you guys, which I'm sure most of you know. So single crochet 2. Now we're going to single crochet 3. So as you can tell, we're going up. So at the beginning we doubled, and now we're slowly starting to space it out. So we did 1, then we spaced it out 2, and now we're spacing out 3. So 2, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, for a total of 3 single crochet spaces, and now 2 single crochet in the next. All right, so we're doing 2, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay, so I'm back, and I just did 2 single crochets. I'm at the very end of my 5th row, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. And so again, we're counting to 3. So 1 single crochet, the next stitch is 1 single crochet, the next stitch is 1 single crochet, 3, 9, 40. Okay, sorry. Sometimes it 40. Okay, so that makes sense because I started with 1 and I have 2 here, so I just joined them together to give my 3 chain space. That makes sense. All right, so now we're on row 6. again, chain 1, single crochet in the same one, double or 2 single crochet in the next. I always want to say double. 2 single crochet in the next, not a double crochet, because that is a different stitch, you guys. Okay, so now instead of going 3 over, we're going to go 4, and we're going to do single crochet in each 4. So there's 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. So that's a 4 space of single crochets after this 2 single crochet stitch. So now we're doing 2 again. 1, 2 in the same space. Okay, so I made it back around to the end here, and I have 2 single crochet and then 1 single crochet 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets in each space, or I should say 1 in each space 4 times. So again, I'm going to do 2 single crochets in this loop here. Whoops. One, 2, and then 1 single crochet the first space, 1 single crochet the second space, 1 single crochet the third, and then this will count as the 4th where we left off. And I'll just slip stitch right through. And if you want to double check, you should have 48 at the end of this row. It would count all the way around each little stitch there. So now we're going on to the 7th row. So I'm going to chain 1, single crochet in the same double or 2 single crochet the next. 1, 2, and now instead of skipping 4, we will skip 5, or not skip, we will single crochet 5 spaces. So 1 in each space. 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 single crochets, and now 2 in the next. So 1 and 2. Okay, so again, 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 in the next, and repeat this all the way around, and I will meet you back up in just a moment. Okay, so I'm back again. I just am at the tail end of this 7th row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sorry, 8th row. 8th row? Anyway, I've done 2 double crochet in this hole here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I'll do 2 single crochet. I keep saying double, I'm so sorry. 2 single crochet, and then again 1 single crochet, and then go to the next and do 1 single crochet, then go to the next, 1 single crochet, and that's 3. This will be 4, and then the beginning of the previous row will be the 5th. So I'll just slip stitch into that and pull it through, and that completes row 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, row 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we're on row 8, and we're going to chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch. When I say the same stitch, just the same one that you slip stitch through. And now instead of 5, I'm going to do 6. So I'm gonna, or sorry, for the next one I will do 2 double crochet, 1 and 2, and now I will do 6 single crochets across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I'll do 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then again okay, so I made it to the end of row 8. So as you can see, I have 2 single crochets in this stitch, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the first single crochet of this row that I did will count as 6. So I'm simply going to slip stitch into that single crochet. That completes row 8. So we're just going to continue in this pattern of increasing each row. So we basically went one double, then we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll continue to do that. The next row we will do 7 single crochets in between each double, and like I said, we'll just continue doing that until we get to row 15, which by the end of that row you should have 120 stitches, and I'll meet back up to show you how we start building our basket up. Okay guys, I'm back. I'm at row 15, and this is the last row. This is the end of our increases before I start to build the basket up. So I did go through almost a whole skein of yarn, so I'll also be showing you at the end of this row how to attach another color, which in this case it'll be the same color, but when you switch colors it'll be the same process. So here I have my double. I'm about to finish off my basket, so I have, I'm sorry, the 2 single crochets there, and so I need 13 single crochets across, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and again, every row I always start with 1 and then I do my 2. So at the end of each row, it might seem like you're short, but you actually just pick up this single crochet that completes your space. So that's the 13th one. That's from the start of the previous row. And I will just slip stitch it like so. This row we're going to be creating a ridge. This stitch is a little bit different. So the way you do it is by working each stitch in the back post. So it's kind of unusual, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and chain 1. And so what you're going to be doing is looking for, let's see. Okay, so you're going to go into the back. Okay, so sorry about that. I was going through the front. You're actually supposed to go through the back. So I'll show you close up what I mean. So you're going to go through the back there, and you're going to pull your hook like so. So I'm literally going through the back of the post. I know it looks weird. It probably will seem weird at first. And then you simply pull the yarn through the back and up. So there's your, and just do a single crochet. And I'll do a few of them so you can see. So I'm just going through the back of the post. And what you're doing is you're leaving this ridge exposed. So instead of going straight through, you're going straight through and under. Like so. And what it's going to do is it's going to create, if I can get this to focus, it's going to create a little ridge here. So that is the goal. And now I'm down to the end of my yarn. So I'm going to show you how to, you'll do the same thing when you change colors. This is just going to be a little different because it's the same color, but anyway, we're just going to find the beginning. Again, I pulled out from the middle. I just pulled my yarn from the middle. Some yarn is harder than others to pull from the middle, but I used to stick a hook in there to pull it out, but it would just get really messy. I would just stick it in there, and now I just use my fingers. Is what I'll do is I'll stick them in there and just like pull out, try to pull out one strand, and usually it'll pull out a big bunch. So you just are going to grab your yarn and create kind of like a circle like that, and then hook, kind of use your fingers to hook it through and pull on the short piece to tighten it. And then what I do is I go ahead and pull that through. So I have where I've ended my stitch here, and then I just pull the yarn through and then I tighten it there. So I tighten that first, the actual leftover from the previous yarn, and then I tighten my new strand securely into place, and then I kind of tighten them both together at the same time. This takes a little practice, but if you can just manage to keep the needle on there as you tighten. And then what I do is I run both of the short strands along the edge that I'm working on and kind of hide them in there. If that's too much, you can always just sew them in with a needle, and that might be easier for you. But so I'm going to continue doing these back post stitches. So with this yarn in the way, it is kind of tricky. I don't know if I'll be able to do, you know what, I'm just going to sew them in later for the sake of the video. So, because I don't think I've ever, anyway. So I'm just going to continue doing my back post stitches. This is a commonly used stitch. As you go, it's still kind of an awkward stitch, so you just gotta take your time with it, kind of twist and turn, make sure that you're not pulling any unnecessary pieces of yarn because you can get caught up pretty easily. So I'm just going to continue doing this back post stitch, just going behind this post, so going behind here, going behind the post, so that's all I'm doing, and then pulling my yarn all the way through like so. So I'm going to continue doing that. It's just one all the way around, so just do it in every single post, and then when I get back to the beginning, I will meet back up with you. Okay, so I'm back, and as you can see, I did this ridge here. So all it does is it just kind of creates this line, like a foundation, like a flat surface for the basket. So you'll see how that looks as you go along. It'll start to look more pronounced. But I'm at the end of my row, and so I'm just going to finish off these last couple, these last couple back post single crochets. And let's see here. Really got to take your time because sometimes you can get caught up pretty easily. And so then I'll just go ahead and slip stitch right here to the first stitch that I did in the previous row, and chain one. And so now this is kind of the easy part until we get to the handles. I'm just going to single crochet the next I believe 11 rows. So I'm on row 17, I believe. So row 17 through 28, I'm just going to single crochet around. Hopefully I won't need another skein of this, but if I do, I have an extra. So I actually bought 3 of these, this color. The nice thing about this pattern is if you do run out of colors and you need to make it bigger, you can just add another color. Okay, so I'm actually just barely on row 23, so I have 4.5 rows more to go. Here's my starting point, and here's where I left off. So I just wanted to stop and show again how I add on. So this will be my 3rd skein of gray, and it will be the most because I had to do the bottom and then up the sides, but the other colors should only be 1. And you'll see when how I go along, but trying to find the yarn. So I basically just kind of, this is always like really tricky. So I just pull out the middle, set my yarn aside, and try to find the end. Here it is. Okay, so here's my end piece, and I'll go ahead and create that little loop like so, and then I just kind of put my fingers through, pull up, and then just tie down like that, and then go through my existing loop, pull it through, tighten the loop, and then tighten. Kind of have to hold them together. It's really tricky, but once you get the hang of it, if you hold that one, wrong one, there, like that. Then I just throw these ends and I'll weave them in later, and I'll just continue single crocheting around. Now if you want to hide your loops in with your work, you can do that too, just by holding them up along the ridge and then doing your single crochet, kind of keeping them level, and then doing your single crochet over them. What that does is it hides the loops, so then you won't have to weave them in later. And this is usually what I do, unless it's a tricky spot. Like this one was kind of tricky, the way I was stitching. I hadn't done it before, so I'll weave those in. But if I can without too much trouble, I'll just weave them in as I stitch. So I'm going to keep going this way again till I get till row 28, and then I'll meet you back up. Okay, so I'm back and I'm at row 28. So I'm getting ready to add my second color of pink. But first what I need to do is I need to go ahead and finish off this row. So I'm just gonna single crochet here. And I just wanted to point out, notice how this looks like a single crochet. It's actually just the slip stitch from the previous row. So you want to make sure not to single crochet in that again, just because I know it looks like it's a stitch. So I just always skip over that one and go to the next and slip stitch through. And if you're ever in doubt, just go ahead and count all of your stitches along the edge and just make sure that you're on the right track, as described in the pattern. So now I will dig for my yarn in this one. Hopefully not pull out too terribly much. Okay. And for this color, I'm gonna go ahead and just cut off a good sizable piece. Put this one aside and find the end, which is sticking out right here. Okay, and then create my loop again. And I'll pull it through and just tighten the gray, which is the base, and then continue to tighten them both at the same time so they're completely secured. And now I'll pull up both of these. Oh, can't see. Pull up both of these. So I just pulled it through and tightened them. And these I'm going to work into the row. So I'm going to start by going into the same stitch, pulling up a single crochet and tightening as much as I can before I continue. Then the next stitch, single crochet, the next stitch, and then I just pull on these just to make sure they're like tightened in there. And just continue. And so as you can see, even though I have two colors, as long as I keep the pink on top and the gray kind of like towards the bottom, I mean, if they get mixed up, it's fine. You can't see them, and they end up getting hidden within the stitch. So it's just a little bit like less work, one less step that you have to worry about at the end, as far as like going back and hiding all of your loose ends, or yeah, sewing them in. This way you don't have to sew them in, you just have to get to the end of them. And if there's like a straggly piece like this, sometimes what I'll do is I'll just cut it once I get it hidden well enough, because I don't want that to come out. And then I'll just continue single crocheting around this one till I get to the end of that. And then sometimes, just to make it easy, I'll just cut that piece off so it's done. And so now for the pink color, color B, we're just gonna single crochet all the way around. And actually we're going to go, this is the 29th row, so we're going to continue for 7 more rows. So 29 through 36 is going to be this pink color. And I will go ahead and meet back up with you when I get to the next color. Okay, I'm back. And so I did end up having to use the second a second skein of pink. So so far I've used 3 grays and this will be the second, but I actually only needed 1 more row. So I didn't use much. But yeah, more than likely, because I do very tight stitches. That's just how, I don't know, I just like them to be really tight. So more than likely, unless you're doing super tight stitches, you will need a second skein of pink. I always buy extra because you can always use it later and make a smaller basket, which I'll have videos up later on how to make a smaller basket with your leftovers. So I'm at the end of the 36th row, and I'm just going to slip stitch like so, and going to cut off a tail here. So, and then I'll just kind of bunch this up, put it aside. And now I'm going to be adding my blue color. If I can fish out the middle. This is like such a challenge sometimes, trying not to pull out too much. Okay. So let's just see if we can find... There it is. All right, so just gonna cut off this little end here. I like to start off with a clean end just because kind of makes it easier. So I'll go ahead and do my hoop like so, pull it through. There's other ways to do this, but this is just the way I like to do it. So I'll go ahead and do that, and single crochet into the first and around, and we're doing 120 stitches around. So if you're ever in doubt, you can always count and make sure there's 120. And I'm just going to do this all the way around. And so we're doing 37, this is row 37 through 42. So about 6 rows of this blue color, 6 more rows of this blue color approximately. So I'm going to go ahead and single crochet around. And like I said, again, I'm just hiding the stitch. I'm just crocheting right over it. Okay, so I made it back around to the end here, and I am just going to do my last single crochet and then slip stitch, and then just pull that through. So I'm going to change colors here. Again, there's other ways to change colors. I might try to do another video on how to do that, but for me, this one I don't know, I seem to like the best. I'm sure there's other ways that people prefer, but this is just the way that I like to do it. So I'm on row 42. I'm about to switch colors to start row 43 with this bright yellow here. Okay, so let's see, try to pull out middle there, find the end, just sticking up right there. Okay, Again, I just like to have clean ends, so I'm just going to cut that piece off, make my little circle here, grab, put my fingers, and then grab this piece and pull it up. And I'll just go ahead and cut this one while I'm at it. Get this out of the way. Whoop. Okay, grab my piece here, pull it through, tighten it, tighten this piece, and chain one, go into the same stitch, single crochet, and again I'm holding these along the ridge here. Okay, so like I said, 20 or 120 is your number for around the edge. So I'm just going to continue. Now this part I'm going to be doing the handles on the second row, so I'll meet you back around when I get there. Okay, so I'm on row 45 and I just got done single crocheting 20 over, starting from here, and now I'm going to chain 20. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So what this is going to do is create a handle for your bag. So now, since I have a chain of 20 here, I want to make sure my space is 20. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And on the 21st opening or stitch, I'm going to go ahead and single crochet. So this creates the opening for my handle there, as you can see. Okay, and then now I'm going to single crochet 40 across. So 1, 2, 3, and I'll meet you back up when I'm done single crocheting this 40. Okay, so I'm back and I made it to the other side of the bag for the next handle, and as you can see, it's about halfway over. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 20 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing as the other side, and I'm going to count 20 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And on the 21st, I'm going to go ahead and single crochet. And so now I have my second handle there, as you can see. And I'm going to go ahead and finish off with 20 single crochets in this last space to meet up with the beginning of this row. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of this row. Okay, so I made it back around. We're on row 46 now. I'm going to single crochet up 1 and I'm going to single crochet all the way around. Now, when I get to the handles, I'll actually just be single crocheting 20 over the handle, and I'll show you in a second how that's done. Okay, so I made it to the handle, and what I mean by single crocheting over it is that we know that this is a 20 chain space, and so we're going to crochet 20 single crochets over that space to make it even with this bottom part. So just right over it as if it were just one big huge stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be kind of awkward like holding it because it is such a big opening, but try to keep your stitches as tight as possible on this so that you can get a good shape for your handle. I lost count. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Make sure you, like I said, make your stitches pretty tight so that it's not so loose. And then just continue single crocheting all the way around till you get to the other hoop and do the same thing. And I'll meet you back up at the end. Alright guys, I made it back to the end of this row, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut off this piece here, and I'm just going to slip stitch. And since I weaved in most of my ends, the only pieces I have to go back and weave in with a needle is these pieces here. And that's it, and then my bag is done. So I'm really excited about this. If you have any questions, please comment below and let me know. If you want me to touch on something, I can go ahead and make another video for that. But this makes a great like toy basket or picnic basket. It serves lots of purposes, and I love that it's just collapsible. You can just like fold it up and put it away really easily. It's awesome. So thanks for watching.